Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Here's a new headline of an article on your screen from Fox Business. Millions of unemployed Americans could be in store for a surprise tax bill during this year's tax filing season. Why? Because unemployment benefits are taxed by the federal government and by most states. I want everyone to be aware about this because millions of our fellow Americans actually collected unemployment benefits in 2021. In fact, millions of Americans who actually collected these benefits could be in for a rude shock when it comes to file taxes, when it comes time to file taxes for 2021 this year in 2022. Why? Again, because unemployment benefits, including all the extra money that was distributed through federal aid programs, does indeed count as taxable income. Just to recap, unemployment benefits vary from one state to another, and the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan that Democrats signed into law last March actually gave beneficiaries an additional $300 per week through the beginning of September. In fact, the average unemployed worker was receiving about $630 per week in benefits before all this aid expired during the first week of April in 2021. Now, Congress also passed a $900 billion stimulus package at the end of December 2020 that extended jobless benefits by $300 a week through the middle of March. So what was happening here is that these programs offered assistance to workers who were not typically eligible and extended state unemployment benefits once they had been exhausted. I'm talking about the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, the PUA program for part-time workers, gig workers. And remember, these individuals are not traditionally eligible for unemployment benefits. So what happened was that many Americans who received the benefits may actually not be aware that the money was taxable. Now think about this. You get the money from the federal government so that you can make ends meet because you're unemployed. And now you have to pay a portion of that back to the federal government by way of taxes and also to states. Now, what's interesting here is that individuals who received this money who did not have taxes withheld are now going to be in for a shock when they file their taxes. Now, what's even more confusing is that Congress actually waived, yes, you heard that right, waived federal income taxes on up to $10,200 in 2020 unemployment benefits for individuals who earned less than $150,000 a year. That break will not apply to 2021. And so what's interesting is that when you're filing taxes this year, you're not going to be able to get that break for 2021. Now, I want you to know that these benefits are not only taxable at the federal level, but most states also tax these unemployment benefits. Now, certain states exempt these unemployment benefits from taxes. California, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Virginia are the only states that completely exempt this, meaning recipients for a majority of unemployment benefits, in other words, recipients in other states, could wind up with a tax bill this year. In other words, you would owe taxes not just to the federal government, but also to your state government. Now, if you have specific questions, you want to look up your state's guidelines because, again, you definitely owe the federal government money, but whether you owe your state money or not, remember, California, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Virginia are the only states to exempt state taxes on unemployment benefits. So if you have specific questions, you can get in touch with your state or speak with an accountant. Now, the only silver lining is you do not have to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes on your unemployment benefits. So that's one silver lining. Now, the total amount of income you receive and your filing status will determine whether you need to file a tax returns. Roughly 25 million of our fellow Americans received unemployment benefits in 2021. Now, to avoid an unexpected tax bill hit next year, recipients have two options. Number one, you can have taxes withheld. Number two, you can make quarterly payments to the IRS. So you can have taxes withheld. So when you first receive benefits, your state government will provide you with an IRS form 1099G. You can choose to have income taxes withheld from your compensation at this time. Now, if you're already receiving the payments and you want the government to automatically take out your taxes from the money before you receive it, as is what happens with a regular paycheck, then you need to file something called a form W4V. This form informs the payer, which is the state government in this case, to withhold 10% from your check for federal income tax. Now, if you'd rather not have your taxes withheld by the government, you can make an estimated payment every quarter, and that's how you can make quarterly payments to the IRS. Now, to do this, beneficiaries will have to calculate their obligation and meet payment deadlines every 3 months. Undershooting how much you owe or missing a deadline could result in a penalty charge. So that's where things stand, everyone. If you received unemployment benefits in 2021, you should be aware that you could face a tax bill from the federal government. In fact, you will face a tax bill from the federal government unless you've paid taxes already, and you could face a tax bill from your state depending on where you live. I hope this information was beneficial. I hope you're not in for a rude shock or a rude awakening. This channel, the Ignition Time channel, was designed and developed to educate you about the country, the economy, as well as your money. If this was helpful, please click the like button. Please take a moment to subscribe and enable notifications. Tell your friends and family about the Ignition Time channel, because that's how we grow and that's where we depend on you to help us spread the word and grow our community. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. This right here is a little bit of information about me. Check out my video. You'll learn how I was able to have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream. I want to help you live the American dream, and I teach you in this video how you can overcome the cycle of poverty that you see on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Check me out on Twitter. My Twitter handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. I'll help you stay updated with all the latest news that's relevant to the country, the economy, as well as our money. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the information in this episode of Ignition Time and whether this was helpful. And let me also know in the comment section below whether you're prepared for this tax hit when you're filing your taxes this year for the income, which, by the way, unemployment benefits are considered as income because they are taxable at the federal level and by most states. Whether you're prepared for the huge tax bill that 25 million of our fellow Americans will be facing. Are you one of them? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.